Construction and demolition waste is a growing problem around the world. But what exactly happens to the materials that make up our buildings and structures? The cycle starts with the extraction of raw materials from the earth, which are transformed into construction products like steel, cement, and bricks. These products are then used to construct buildings and other structures, which are occupied by people. When the building is no longer needed, it's demolished, and the materials are sent to landfills or used for energy recovery. However, recycling offers a more sustainable alternative. After the material inventory stage, the materials can be prepared, sorted, and cleaned for recycling. The materials are then transformed into new products, reducing the need for virgin materials. The circular economy aims to minimize waste and reuse materials to their fullest extent. The shift from demolition to deconstruction involves carefully dismantling buildings to salvage as much material as possible for reconditioning in order to minimize waste. The materials are then cleaned, repaired, or upgraded and used to construct new buildings or structures, completing the circular loop. By adopting a more sustainable approach to construction and demolition waste, we can reduce our impact on the environment and build a more sustainable future. This is why the Digital Deconstruction Project, supported by Interreg Northwest Europe, was born, to combat construction and demolition waste and pave the way towards a more sustainable future through responsible digital deconstruction practices. I am Annie Guerriero. I am a researcher at LIST, the Luxembourg Institute of Science and Technology, in the ERIN department, which is the environment department of LIST. I am a training architect, and I'm going to talk to you today about the Digital Deconstruction Project, a project in which we worked on the development of digital tools, of computer services that are dedicated to the circular economy and to the reuse in the construction sector. I'm going to talk to you about the Digital Deconstruction Project. In this project, we worked on various applications that are dedicated to the reuse in the construction sector and the development of circular economy practices. This platform is composed of different technical modules. First of all, we have the 3D scan, which allows us to collect the information on the existing situation. Then we have what we call the reversible BIM. From the 3D scan, we're able to create the BIM model and then provide an analysis of the potential for reuse. That means that we study the different connections between the different components that make up the building, and ultimately, we're able to determine what can be easily dismantled from what cannot, and ultimately determine what has a high potential for reuse from what does not. We can see a color code that will allow us to determine on the BIM model the different elements with high and low reuse potential. Then we have a material inventory that's generated directly from the BIM and which allows us to define the different elements that make up the building in the form of a list. Finally, from all these elements, we're able to generate material passports that will be themselves secured into the blockchain in order to ensure transparency in exchanges and also in the property of the objects. In general, increasing confidence in the objects of reuse is essential to guarantee adoption on the market of these new practices of reuse. Then we have the DDC platform that will connect all the information from these different technical modules and which will provide different visualizations that will be support for the analysis of the materials for reuse. We have BIM visualizations, RBIM. We have dashboards that integrate environmental and economic indicators. We have the list of the different components of the material inventory. Finally, a whole series of information that will allow us to make the right decisions in the matter of reuse. An important thing is that these technologies that have been developed have been tested in different pilots in France, Belgium, the Netherlands, and Luxembourg. This has allowed us to collect feedback from users. Because the idea of this project is to develop technologies that are adopted and that correspond to the needs of the market.
C'est de développer des technologies qui soient adoptées et qui correspondent aux besoins du marché.
Hello, my name is Eleanor de Rossard and I work for Buildwise. Buildwise is the research and innovation centre for construction entrepreneurs in Belgium. We're partners in the Digital Deconstruction Project, the DDC for the close friends. As part of DDC, our role is to research what digital tools, what techniques, whether high-tech or low-tech, can be useful to facilitate circular deconstruction, to facilitate high-value recycling and reuse of construction materials. We have the ambition to transfer knowledge to the sector so that it can adopt these technologies, these digital tools for practical use in current deconstructions. I can say that the first step for circular deconstruction is the pre-demolition audit. So, make a state of the materials and elements that are in the building. The inventory of materials, also called pre-demolition audit, is really key in the deconstruction process because it allows you to have a view of what exists, what is the potential for reuse of elements, what are the materials that constitute it, what is its state, what is removable or not. So we try to develop digital tools and see which digital tools can be useful to facilitate, to accelerate this inventory process. The project, Digital Deconstruction, is a precursor project with pilot projects, with a first elaboration of a digital tool, a platform that gathers several tools. And so, we at Buildwise, we will continue following this project, which ends in September 2023. We will continue to develop tools. We will continue to develop case studies, to spread knowledge and help entrepreneurs to dare to take the plunge towards the use of digital tools in their practice, to become more circular. Construction and demolition waste, CDW, accounts for 35% of all waste generated in the European Union. At least 70% of this amount are recycled in most of the European countries. Nevertheless, it is generally used for backfilling and not for high-value recycling. Furthermore, in the northwestern region of the EU, less than 3% of CDW is being considered for reuse and upcycling, which highlights the potential for more sustainable waste management practices in the construction sector. To achieve a circular economy, there is a need for more efforts towards reducing the amount of waste generated, promoting recycling, and encouraging the reuse and upcycling of materials. Since January 2020, the Digital Deconstruction Project, which is supported by Interreg Northwest Europe, brought together a consortium of 14 international partners from France, Belgium, the Netherlands, and Luxembourg. The project aims to enhance the reuse strategy in the construction industry, with a focus on digitalization as a key tool for achieving this goal. By leveraging the benefits of digitalization, the project seeks to promote more sustainable practices in the sector, with a particular emphasis on reducing demolition waste and maximizing resource efficiency. The Digital Deconstruction Project successfully delivered 5 major outputs. Firstly, the team developed the integrated DDC platform, which was brought to technology readiness level 7 and made accessible to companies in the IT, engineering, construction, and real estate sectors as an open-source software package. Secondly, the project established a transnational network of regional innovation hubs, which supported the optimization, validation, and rollout of DDC solutions. Thirdly, 8 international pilot projects were conducted to test the digital tools in operational environments, and an interactive DDC navigator was created to support the use and further adaptation of DDC tools. Fourthly, the team developed an interactive DDC navigator, which facilitated the use and adaptation of DDC tools. Finally, the project conducted market development actions, end-user-focused training, and capacity-building activities to promote the adoption of DDC solutions and support their integration into the wider construction industry. To help you use the DDC platform in your projects, we've composed and structured this training. It will deal with different things in different chapters. It will address the 3D scan technology, the reversible BIM technology, material inventories, and finally the DDC dashboard that centralizes all the information from these modules. Finally, the last chapter will address the aspects dedicated to technical support and the way to use and deploy this solution technically within your organizations. We hope you'll appreciate the contents of this training and that it will be useful to deploy new, more circular practices in your deconstruction projects.